Good morning. Today I am sitting with Father
AthanasiusCherry from St. Vincent Arch Abbey in Latrobe.
And we are sitting in the...
This is St. Mary's Byzantine Catholic Church in Bradenville, Pennsylvania.
It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for making time for me. Now, what is the address of St. Mary's in Bradenville?
The address is 300 St. Mary's Way, Bradenville, PA.
Yes. If you find Bradenville, you should be able to find the church.
Yep, if you say Bradenville, you'll find the church.
And what are the times of your services and masses?
Okay. Saturday night we have a liturgy at 5 o'clock, and Sunday we have 9 o'clock. And 9 o'clock is live streamed. Every Sunday, all you have to do is to go on to St. Mary's Byzantine Catholic Church in Bradenville, and you'll find it.
Oh, that's wonderful to know.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Of all the ministers, priests, and pastors that I've interviewed, you may have the record of being at this the longest. You told me you were a monk for 60 years.
I've been a monk at St. Vincent for 60 years.
And you've been a priest for 50 years.
Correct.
But you've only been here serving in this building since March of 2023?
Yes.
That's terrific. And have the people accepted you?
Oh yeah, I've known the people here because the pastor who was here before, Father Joe Borodosh, I've been helping him out for 20 years. So they know me, and I know them. And the past couple of years, he got very seriously ill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And couldn't do most of the Saturday and Sunday and all the services, funerals, and everything else. So I really have been, I've been here now steady for about 3 years. So they know me. But then when he passed away in March, I decided, hey, why not take over?
Why not, indeed? Why not? And if the people like you and everything,
yeah.
I assume everything's going well.
Everything is going extremely well. This church is a vibrant church, and it is just exciting to be here because the people are quite involved, and they really make it a place of family and home.
And if you hear some noise in the background, it's because there are people busy here today on this very chilly morning making the church even more beautiful, if that's even possible. I mean, I look around, there's no bad place to look. It's also beautiful. Can you give me a little bit of history on the building?
Sure. The parish started in 1905. This is not the original church. That church was torn down in the 1950s, and a new church was put up here. And then in 1980, and between 1980 and 90, the inside of this church was totally renovated. So what you see today is the new renovation between the 80s and the 90s. And this is a typical Byzantine Catholic church, but Byzantine meaning this is an Eastern church, and so you will see icons on the wall and on the ceilings, and you will see all kinds of images, and that is the tradition of the Byzantine church throughout the world. So what you see here is if you walked into a Byzantine church in California or South America or Europe, you would see particularly the same setup, but maybe different icons.
Back 120 years ago when this church was established, this place of worship was established, what were the nationalities that were known to in Bradenville that felt they needed to have a church here?
Well, first of all, in this Pittsburgh and surrounding areas, this place, they came from the Carpatho-Russian mountains in Eastern Europe, and from those other countries in Slovakia, the Carpatho-Russian mountains, and all that area, and they came here. A lot of them came here because of the coal mines and the steel mills, and they were coming over to America And there were jobs here.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah, lots of
Land of opportunity.
land of opportunity.
Yes, yeah.
And so they came here and they settled in this area because this area was rich in all the steel mills and all the coal mining that was taking place in all this area. So this is where they settled because this was where the work was, and this is where they found themselves at home, and then they established their churches. So they all came from Eastern Europe and settled here. And the church, when they established their church here, the language was Slavonic. So they prayed and sang in the Slavonic language because that's where they came from, and that's where the churches used that language. But then we, in the actually even way back in the late 40s and early 50s, everything changed into English because this was the America and people were speaking English. And so in Eastern Church, we follow the language of the people. So if the people spoke English, then we have our services in English. If they were Greek, we did Greek. If they did Polish, they did Polish. So the language followed wherever the people went.
Now, being you've been in the ministry for 6 decades, have you seen changes over the years, or what was the major change from your first day to this today? I mean,
Okay.
Have things changed over the years, or are Christians basically the same?
I think Christians are basically the same, but I think a lot of huge changes have taken place. Of course, in the Western Church, the Vatican Council in the 1970s, the Second Vatican Council. In the East, in the Byzantine and the Eastern churches, we didn't have a Protestant Reformation. We didn't have all the changes that took place like in the West. So here in this kind of church, we didn't go through an upheaval. So what we pray, celebrate in our services, liturgies, and all of our liturgies, we haven't changed in over 1,000 years. Nothing has changed. And in that sense of the word. So in that sense, our traditions are very rich, and the people love them, and they continue to do that. But in the Western Church, Western Catholic Church, which I'm familiar with, huge changes have taken place. But the people remain the same, but some people accept changes, some people don't accept changes. And I think one of the difficulties in any church, our church, any church, is that when change takes place and things happen and things do change, they have to change, people have a hard time going through this change. And I think the answer to that, I've always said, not only to this church, but everywhere that I've helped out, if you give them the history, if you give them what is the reason behind all of this, why we are doing these things, they'll accept it. Yeah. But if you just say, okay, we're doing this tomorrow.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. It's like, no,
Do or die.
No. There's a history behind all this.
Right. And a reason.
And a reason. And so if you tell the history and the reason, then it's like, oh, yeah, okay, now I understand. Okay, great. But I think a lot of times places don't do that, and therefore, why are we doing this? Right. So I think people will accept changes and continue to accept changes, but they have to be told the history and the reason why, and that makes sense.
What do you think your top priority is as you minister at St. Mary's at Bradenville? What's the first thing on your to-do list that you need to do?
My first thing on my to-do list is to make the congregation more and more feel that St. Mary's is their home, that they are loved and accepted, and that more members would come and find this church a very welcome, opening, warm church to come to and celebrate. Because we have a lot of things that are now happening in the church here, and people are just loving it.
What do you call home? What area?
Home,
Yes, what's home to you?
this area, Latrobe.
Latrobe? You're from this area?
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh.
Okay, well, that's close enough.
I'm close enough. Yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh, so I'm not from another state. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and so this whole area is where I've grown up, no matter what.
As we come to the end of the interview, I'm going to just leave it up to you. Whatever you'd like to say, if you'd like to give people an encouraging word to get them back to church, or whatever you'd like to say. This last bit is yours.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to speak on behalf of this beautiful church here, that I would like people to know that this church is a very warm, welcome, open church, and that the people here are so, the word I want to say is hospitality, and that we have many activities going on. In fact, we have activities going on every month, and they initiated all these activities. I didn't. I just simply say yes. And so it's a congregation that's driven by the people, and they love this church, and they make it a part of their own. And so anyone that's interested in experiencing the Eastern Church, the Byzantine liturgy, you're most welcome to come to St. Mary's. Just identify yourself and let me know if you're new here, and certainly we will welcome you, and you're welcome here anytime to come and celebrate our beautiful liturgies. And they are beautiful, and I'm just making an encouragement that many people want to experience the Eastern Byzantine rite, and if you want to experience that, come here to St. Mary's, and I'm sure you will experience Christ and all the fullness of just celebrating the life with Christ and with God and with all of creation.
Very well said.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time. Until next time, God bless.